Well, we're halfway through the show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
Drake just created a totally new rap beef. What happens when a rising star shines too bright? In the post-Kendrick versus Drake era, the answer is chaos. Doja Cat's dominance ignited a firestorm, flames licking at the heels of hip-hop's old guard. A Lauryn Hill cosign, chart-topping hits, a target painted on her back. Her success morphed into a dangerous game, and Drake is playing to win, aiming to rewrite the narrative. This isn't just a rivalry, it's a war for the very essence of hip-hop soul.
Kendrick, look out, look out, look out!
Think you've seen rap feuds before? You haven't seen anything like this one.
After the seismic clash between Kendrick and Drake, the hip-hop landscape was irrevocably shattered. Old alliances crumbled, and a stark, almost tribal, divide emerged. It wasn't merely about the music anymore. It was a battle for the genre's very identity. Kendrick's piercing call for authenticity resonated deeply, exposing those clinging to the shallow comforts of superficiality. Doja Cat, a force of nature, rose amidst this transformative shift, her presence a defiant declaration. While some scrambled to pick sides in the lingering echoes of the old war, she boldly forged her own path. Threatening to rewrite the established rules of engagement. This wasn't merely the arrival of a new artist, it was the dawn of a new era, a paradigm shift that left everyone keenly aware of the changing tides. Grammys, chart-topping hits that became anthems, and critical acclaim that echoed through the halls of hip-hop's elite. Doja Cat didn't just have a fleeting moment, she redefined what a moment could embody. Her music wasn't just catchy, it was a powerful statement, a sonic tapestry that resonated with a generation yearning for authenticity. With each milestone, the whispers grew louder, not the celebratory murmurs of admiration.
Doja Cat explains how her wet t-shirt look was totally on brand for this year's Met Gala.
But the hushed tones of envy, tinged with resentment. The old guard, those entrenched in the comfortable rhythms of the status quo, watched in disbelief as Doja Cat shattered their carefully constructed world. They couldn't deny her undeniable talent, but they could certainly resent its disruptive power. Every achievement became a target, every victory a source of simmering bitterness. They desperately tried to paint her as an industry plant, a manufactured star, anything to diminish the incandescent shine of her success. But the truth was undeniable. Doja Cat's rise was organic, earned through relentless dedication and a genuine artistic vision.
New Artist of the Year award goes to Doja Cat.
And utterly unstoppable. That's precisely what they feared most, the uncontainable force of authentic talent. Sensing the tectonic shift, Drake, the master strategist, initiated his countermove, Ice Spice, a name that already carried a palpable tension in relation to Doja Cat. Whispers of past veiled comments, thinly disguised jealousy. But now he strategically brought her into his influential fold, featuring her on his project. It wasn't merely a casual collaboration, it was a calculated statement, a clear attempt to position Ice Spice as a strategic counterforce to Doja Cat's burgeoning dominance.
The iHeartRadio Most Played Artist of the Year, Doja Cat!
Drake, renowned for his ability to manipulate the narrative and control the discourse, was clearly aiming to leverage the existing friction between the two artists, exploiting the latent animosity. He was betting on the idea that by aligning himself with Ice Spice, he could effectively create a strategic divide, a fracture in the unified front that Doja Cat represented. The critical question was, would it work? Could Drake successfully transform perceived rivalry into a full-blown?
Drake is filing a petition against Universal Music Group and Spotify, accusing the companies of, quote, artificially inflating the spread of Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
Headline-grabbing beef, and more importantly, would the discerning fans buy into his carefully crafted narrative? This wasn't merely a skirmish between two artists. It was a high-stakes battle for the very future of the genre, and Drake was clearly aiming to seize control of the narrative, dictating the terms of engagement. The heart of this emerging conflict lies in a fundamental difference, the contrasting approaches to the art of music itself. Doja Cat's meteoric rise wasn't built on fleeting trends or manufactured hype.
Again, I haven't prepared a speech. But I know that I have an amazing team.
It was rooted in genuine artistry, relentless pursuit of innovation, a willingness to experiment and push the boundaries of creative expression, and a profound ability to connect with her audience on a deeply personal level. Her music felt authentic, a refreshing breath of originality in a scene often saturated with the same recycled formulas. In stark contrast, Drake, and by extension, Ice Spice, were increasingly perceived as relying on gimmicks.
A long-standing feud between rap artist Drake and Kendrick Lamar is once again heating up after the release of diss tracks
on chasing the ephemeral allure of fleeting trends rather than setting them. The carefully curated collaborations, the meticulously crafted personas, it all felt calculated, devoid of genuine artistic intent. The contrast was becoming increasingly stark, fueling the growing narrative. This wasn't merely about a superficial competition for chart positions. It was about the very direction of hip-hop itself. Was it destined to be a genre defined by genuine talent and artistic innovation? Or would it ultimately succumb to the seductive allure of quick fame and superficial trends?
Drake is focusing on his own fans and made Kendrick Lamar's halftime show performance. After the Not Like Us rapper dissed the Canadian rapper,
Doja Cat, whether consciously or not, had become the embodiment of the former, a beacon of authenticity in a world desperately craving it. And that kind of authenticity, in a world hungry for it, is an incredibly powerful weapon. Drake wasn't content with just Ice Spice. Another figure emerged, solidifying the battle lines, Latto. Her unwavering support for Drake was unmistakable, a vocal endorsement that transcended simple camaraderie. From amplifying his projects with fervent enthusiasm to seemingly taking thinly veiled digs at his rivals, Latto made it abundantly clear where her loyalties lay.
Now we turn to rapper Drake, suing his own music label, Universal Music, over the label's promotion of a Kendrick Lamar track, which he says includes false, defamatory, and dangerous accusations.
And her well-documented history with Doja Cat added a layer of deeply personal animosity to the already volatile mix. It wasn't merely about the music. It was about past grievances, about perceived slights, about a simmering rivalry that had been brewing beneath the surface for far too long. This wasn't merely a professional disagreement. It was deeply personal, fueled by years of unresolved tension. The battle lines were drawn, and Latto's overt allegiance to Drake felt like a direct, almost defiant challenge to Doja Cat's growing dominance. It was a calculated move, a clear attempt to rally the troops and create a united front against the rising star. The critical question was, would this strategic alliance be enough? Could Drake effectively leverage these deeply personal rivalries and perceived slights to create a genuine counterforce? Or would it simply fuel the already raging fire of Doja Cat's unstoppable ascent? Beneath the surface of this unfolding drama, the stakes were far higher than mere chart positions or fleeting social media buzz. This wasn't merely a superficial competition for who was the hottest rapper. It was a profound battle for the very soul of hip-hop, a clash of ideologies. What were the driving forces behind these strategic alliances, these simmering rivalries? For Drake, it was clearly about reclaiming his diminished position, about reasserting his waning influence in a rapidly changing landscape. He perceived Doja Cat as a potent symbol of that change, a direct threat to his carefully constructed established order. For Ice Spice and Latto, the motivations were perhaps more complex, a tangled web of ambition and resentment. Was it pure, unadulterated jealousy, a bitter resentment of Doja Cat's meteoric rise? Or was it a calculated, strategic move, a shrewd alliance with Drake to gain leverage, visibility, and a share of his influential platform? Whatever the underlying reasons, the message was crystal clear.
Don't worry, I'm lawyered up. Anyway.
They were willing to align themselves against Doja Cat, to challenge her hard-earned dominance, to disrupt her ascent. And for Doja Cat, the stakes were equally high, if not higher. She had become an unintentional symbol of authenticity, of artistic integrity in a genre often accused of sacrificing substance for style. Could she maintain her artistic integrity in the face of this relentless onslaught? Could she navigate the treacherous, politically charged waters of hip-hop without compromising her artistic vision? The motivations were clear: power, influence, and the insatiable desire to control the narrative. But the ultimate question remained: who would ultimately emerge victorious from this high-stakes battle, and what would the devastating cost be to the genre itself? Then, a pivotal moment that sent shockwaves rippling through the entire industry: the Lauryn Hill cosign. A gesture that transcended mere celebrity endorsement. It was a symbolic, almost ceremonial, passing of the torch. A profound validation from one of hip-hop's most revered and respected figures. This wasn't just another fleeting celebrity shout-out. It was a powerful, resounding statement, a clear and unequivocal indication of where the true artistry resided. It amplified Doja Cat's already formidable legitimacy, solidifying her position as far more than just a fleeting trend or a manufactured sensation. In the midst of the brewing conflict, it served as a stark, undeniable reminder of the enduring power of genuine talent, a beacon of hope in a sea of manufactured hype. The cosign wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was a significant turning point, a watershed moment. It signaled that Doja Cat's trajectory was undeniable, her influence was rapidly growing, and that the forces aligned against her would have to contend with a force much larger than they had anticipated. This wasn't just about a petty beef between artists. It was about the very future of hip-hop, and Doja Cat, with the unwavering backing of legends, was leading the charge, blazing a trail for a new era. And as the tension mounted, one thing became crystal clear: the battle lines were irrevocably drawn, and the war was just beginning. So what happens now? Will this simmering tension inevitably erupt into a full-blown, headline-grabbing beef, complete with scathing diss tracks, incendiary social media wars, and carefully orchestrated media spectacles? Or will it remain a silent, insidious battle, fought in the shadows of the industry, a war of whispers and strategic maneuvers? Regardless of the specific form it takes, the impact is undeniable, the reverberations destined to echo through the halls of hip-hop.
Doja, give me an over the shoulder, darling.
For years to come. This conflict is a powerful microcosm of the larger, ongoing struggle within the genre. A relentless battle between authenticity and artifice, between genuine innovation and calculated imitation. It's a stark reflection of the fractured, almost tribal landscape left in the turbulent wake of the Kendrick versus Drake clash. A landscape where alliances are constantly shifting and loyalties are perpetually tested. This isn't merely about the individual trajectories of Doja Cat, Drake, Spice and Latto. It's about the very direction of the genre itself, the fundamental principles that will guide its future. Will hip-hop continue to embrace the kind of bold, artistic evolution that Doja Cat so powerfully represents? Or will it ultimately succumb to the seductive, yet ultimately hollow, allure of fleeting trends and manufactured hype, sacrificing substance for style? The answer lies in the crucial choices that these artists make, in the integrity of the music they create, and in the profound message they send to their increasingly discerning fans. This is more than just a superficial rivalry. It's a defining moment for hip-hop, a pivotal juncture that will indelibly shape its future for generations to come. And as the world watches with bated breath, the ultimate question remains: who will ultimately emerge victorious from this high-stakes battle? And what will the devastating cost be to the genre itself? The price of this war for hip-hop soul?